Welcome, Gemini. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your July general reading. This will cover the entire month of July, the new moon and the full moon. But I am filming this today on the summer solstice. So the energy of the sun moving into Cancer, which marks the beginning of summer in the Northern Hemisphere and the longest day of the year. It also marks the entrance of the planet into the Sirius Gateway. The Sirius star is the brightest star in the night sky, and it also marks our kind of spiritual alignment, planetary alignment with our spiritual sun. So this is where we are energized and in tune with our mission, our purpose, or what it is we have chosen to do to make a contribution to humankind. So if you want to know more about the astrology at this time, I've written some brief descriptions below in the description box, and you can use that as a reference. I will not talk a lot more about the various planetary energies going on. Instead, in July, I will post a new moon reading and a full moon reading where I can delve into some of that a little bit more carefully. I want to thank all of you for commenting, sharing, liking, and subscribing to my channel. I appreciate your comments. They are very helpful and supportive, and I appreciate all the love and support you give. In whatever form that is, I feel it. So let's get started, Gemini, with your overall energy for the reading, which is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords indicates an opening up, an opportunity for you to be a witness, an observer of your own thought processes, your own ideas, the way in which you communicate your ideas, and the permission you've given yourself to be a beginner in approaching and negotiating and sharing and facilitating new ideas, new inspirations, opening up to new levels of truth. This card certainly indicates news, messages, information coming towards you, but it is challenging your perspective. And this is in a positive sense. You are now available and open to new truths and new inspirations moving forward. In the 10th house, this is the house where you are seen by your community, by the world, where you also take a social position. And the Knight of Swords is following up on the energy of the Page of Swords, indicating that as you are exploring new ideas, new concepts, new truths, new inspirations in your workplace as part of your career, your job, your efforts in the community, in the larger world, the way that you show up for the collective, you are also allowing yourself, as you're exploring and questing for new ideas, new truths, new values, you are allowing yourself to receive them as unfiltered as possible. And Gemini, although it is a natural skill and capacity for you to be a communicator, to be open to ideas, this is taking it to a much higher level of observing your own ability to take in new, unexpected information, to be open up to new truths, and to actually observe how you function and facilitate those truths, implementing them in your own consciousness, shifting your perspective, opening up your perspective, and also how you're able to follow the lead of new information that you're receiving. In the first house, we have the Empress card, and this is so beautiful for you, Gemini, because this indicates that your perspective, your daily perspective, your mundane focus at this time is on generating abundance, generating new ideas, generating new projects, making abundance from what you have. And that also indicates to me that you are open up to the impact of your efforts in new ways, understanding your impact in new ways, and really expanding the ability to care through your phenomenal ability to receive and communicate, facilitate dialogue and communication. So you're understanding new ideas and really generating greater personal abundance. In the fourth house, we have the Ace of Cups. And this is indicating to me that you are open up to new experiences of feelings and emotions, a new way of centering and rooting yourself in your feelings. So this is interesting to me in terms of the planetary energy. With the new moon in Cancer, the full moon in Capricorn, this is really helping us understand not just the structures that we put in place, our ultimate goals in the world, but also the ways in which we feel about that. We have all survived an incredible amount of change and transition in the world, and how we are feeling about all these new ways that we want to change, improve, and grow our experience. You are very rooted in your heart, in your feelings. You're using your feelings and your heart to generate, to guide you, to make sense of the amount of information you are receiving and seeking out. So this is very positive for your own sense of comfort, generosity, and enjoyment, a creative fount, really releasing your imagination in a way that really supports your receiving love and feeling good about what it is you're doing in the world. The seventh house, your significant others, is the High Priestess. And this is incredibly interesting in terms of your partnerships, your collaborations in the larger sense. So in addition to significant others in your life, you are growing. You've learned a lot about your relationship with your work, your relationship with the things that you desire, with your co-workers, your business, your clients, your customers, your students, your audience. As a creative, there is new information that you have been able now to tap into, or certainly in the month of July, that will be highlighted through this openness of heart, this openness to feeling good about the changes that are being imposed upon you and that you are changing. You're really tapping into some ancestral cultural wisdom that is allowing you to hold your cards close to your chest when it comes to your partnerships. You know exactly who you are at this time, and your strongest relationship you're building is with your ancestral or cultural past. You're using those relationships in order to confirm where you're going, what your ultimate goal will be, and how you'll be able to work with others as you open up to new ideas and inspirations. In the first house, the Empress card is clarified with the Page of Cups in the second house and the Ten of Swords in the third house. I definitely recognize with the second page here, this is again indicating that the amount of permission you are giving yourself to reflect on your feelings and emotions, for you to not only implement new ideas, let go of old habits and patterns, people, and circumstances that don't serve you, as you are honing your, as I've heard someone say, you're upping your cutoff game. You're understanding that what doesn't work and what doesn't serve you does not need to be a part of your life. And I'm getting a sense here that relationships that you have accommodated for a long time, maybe for your entire life, maybe for your a significant portion of your work experience, you are now recognizing that cutting off those relationships is an act of self-love. It is an act of identifying what feels good in your life and what doesn't. And that's you centering and allowing yourself to be a beginner in terms of opening up and really feeling your actions, feeling your behaviors, and checking in with your heart as a basis for moving forward. The Ace of Cups in the 4th house is clarified by the 6 of Pentacles in the 5th house and the King of Swords in the 6th house. The 6 of Pentacles, again, is really having you considering your relationships, considering your efforts. All your acts of love, devotion, or service are being reconsidered by you, particularly those relationships with friends, the ways that you find pleasure in your friendships and peer relationships is being sorted and considered by you in terms of just what you are understanding, in terms of your cutoff game, your separation, the ability to separate yourself from things that aren't serving you is being overall considered in all areas of your life. So as this is arising from your sense of rootedness, your ancestral past, your memory even, you are making space to receive more love. You are making space to consider your feelings, what you receive through your relationships. And that is you challenging the notion that you are responsible to all of the other intimates and people that you are dialoguing, communicating with, and sharing information, so that you are understanding that it is now your turn to consider what impacts you in the way that feels good, how your perspective is shifting, how in fact, as a part of your working life, your routines, your habits in your life, you are shifting your perspective. You have recognized that the ability to think, to structure your thoughts, is what determines the success or failure of your reality. And as you are willfully cultivating a stronger sense of perspective, a stronger sense of detachment from these powerful feelings that you have now given yourself permission to feel, you are recognizing that it is the cultivation of these thoughts through the information from your feelings and your emotions, your experiences of the past and the present, that you are able to structure success and prosperity in those projects you take on, particularly as you work with others. The High Priestess in the 7th house is clarified by the 3 of Cups in the 8th house and the Knight of Cups in the 9th house. So we've got some celebration here. Your ability to balance, consider, weigh, harmonize your relationships is allowing you to celebrate and provide support not only to those who need that support, that you're now uniquely able to recognize those needs and minister to them, but you're also celebrating the fact that this very community allows you as well to share these feelings of deep disappointment, senses of failures in your relationships, that you now have the ability to feed yourself through your own feelings and emotions. Celebrate the support that you have. Celebrate the community that supports you in your vulnerability. And that becomes a powerful resource as you work with others to share your resources, understanding that the most phenomenal resource that you have among you is your ability to support one another, is your ability to allow your personal narrative of emotions, of overcoming obstacles to feed each other. Through that, you're understanding that anything is possible, and you continue to explore new ways of creative expression, new avenues of creative expression. So I'm feeling very strongly that your work has a lot to do with the ability to express yourself. You may be a creative, or it may be the human resources aspect of your work that you are finding yourself particularly adept at, managing other people, not just the efficiency of their production, but managing their motivation, encouraging them, uplifting them as you model your own ability to find new sources of love and support for yourself. The Knight of Swords in the 10th house is clarified by the Two of Swords in the 11th house and the Devil in the 12th house. Yeah, there's some really, really profound changes occurring in your sense of self, the way you're identifying yourself, the way you're understanding who you are, and what your responsibility is to others. You are allowing yourself to be rooted in your own feelings and emotions and experiences of flow, being able to cultivate that observation of yourself, your behaviors, your triggers, those things you'd rather avoid, is actually something that you recognize has motivated and framed your life or this particular experience for much of your life. You're recognizing the validity of the structures that have existed so that they got you to this place where you're now able to choose between your need, your obligation to others, and your need and fulfillment from yourself. This isn't just a choice or a crossroads. This is really about tapping into your own source of information as a way of not avoiding what you don't want to see. This is where you've learned that what you feel, what you've experienced, is informed by you and not by the expectations of others. I'm going to finish off this reading, Gemini, with a crystal oracle language of flowers and see what we get as I pull a language of flowers card, and I've chosen the belladonna. The key word is silence. Listen more and quiet be. I'm going to leave it here, Gemini. I thank you for your time, your attention, and for a lovely read. Until next time, namaste.